Good afternoon, everybody. If you're in the U.S., good afternoon. If you're somewhere else, good evening, good morning. It's Wednesday, the 15th, tax day, July 15th, tax day. Who knew? Thank goodness I got all that done already, and I'm not having to worry about taxes. If you're here, wave, say hello. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. We had a good rain. Well, hubby's glad because he hates to turn on the sprinklers. So he was glad we got a good rain this morning here in Kansas City, Lee Summit, to be precise. We are going to make a fun little card. It's a partial die cut card today. So let me turn my screen around. There we go. Hi, Chris. Hi, Loopy. Hi, Donna. Hope you're all having a great day. Let me get everything kind of equaled out here. We are once again, I need to move on, y'all. I'm just in love with this, this bundle. The Sunflower Celebrations bundle, the dies and the stamp set. You can order them separately, but when you order them together, hey Betty, you save 10%. And with the dies, you get all of these images. It'll cut out these stamped images, and then you get some of these little extras. It's really fun. And if you'll hang on till the end, I have a bunch of samples using this set that you may or may not have seen already. I have to get comfortable here, y'all, because of my burn. I do have good news about the burn. If you've been following me, it's getting smaller. It was the size of a $50, and now it's kind of the size of a quarter. So, but it's still just so uncomfortable. I've been wearing kind of sundresses the last couple of days just to kind of get it to air out. I don't have anything on the inside, but this is the card we're going to make. It's kind of a raised card, and we've partially die cut out this panel. We're going to do some heat embossing. And we're using the papers, I need my glasses. That would help. We're using they're called Flowers for Every Season. I have been using these to death. I love these papers. I'm on my second pack. But you get 4 of 12 different patterns. So they're double-sided. I've had a class with this. I've done several samples with this, and I still have quite a few left. They're really pretty. There's even a couple Christmas prints in here. I should do a Christmas in July card. There's a little poinsettia. I made my pre-order. Demonstrators can pre-order out of the holiday catalog. Finally, I got around to it yesterday. I hear shipping is slow, so if you've placed an order, I apologize, but I hear shipping is kind of slow right now. There was another little Christmas print that I wanted to show in this pack. I love just the plain old small background prints myself too. Well, I can't find it now. This is kind of Christmassy. You could turn that into a Christmas print. But I thought there was another one. I've used this one to death. This is all I have left, that one. So I've used about all of the sheets of that one. Anyways, I really like this paper. It's one of my favorites out of that new annual catalog. Oh, no, Betty, your shipment got lost? That happened to me once, and I called Stampin' Up, and they sent out a new shipment that day, and then the other one showed up the next day. So I had to send one of them back. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know, I was talking to Loopy about that too. Those UPS guys and girls, they're just overwhelmed right now. They're working holiday hours, I guess, and we're all just, I'm going to turn on this light. I don't know if it helps, but the more light I can get, the better. It's just the times we live in. So we'll say a little prayer and cross our fingers that your order arrives. 2 weeks. Oh, I hope mine doesn't take that long. So like I said, this is kind of raised up. So it's kind of shadowing the little embossed sunflower that we put on there. So the first thing we need to do this is our card base, which is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. And then we need this panel right here. Actually, we don't need that yet. Let's go ahead and do our, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's do our heat embossing. And I'm going to grab my stamp case here. I like to use my Stamparatus when I'm doing Versamark sometimes, so I can just really get a nice, I can stamp it a few times, get it really full. Versamark ink is just a sticky little ink. It's probably not even ink. It's something. I don't know. I'm giving it a really good press because this is a pretty detailed stamp. I love this stamp. I hope you all aren't getting sick of it. I'll move on to something else. Okay, that's probably good. And then when I use the Versamark, I like to really get it off pretty quickly because it is sticky. I don't know if it hurts if you don't get it off quickly, but I like to get it off quickly. And I dropped my stamp, my card. Okay, so I did forget to use my embossing buddy over that, but I think we'll be okay. I'm just going to sprinkle some white. This is white embossing powder, stamp emboss powder. I find I use clear and white the most. I don't know why. I just do. Okay. Set this aside. Oops, almost messed that up. I'll fix it later. Okay, sorry about that. I laid the plate on top and got a little, could have been bad. But I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to get all these extra little things off of there. Okay. So I'm going to turn on the heat tool. It's going to sound terrible. The Stampin' Up! Heat tool has a low and a high. I use the high for heat embossing. I use the low if I'm trying to dry something. Like yesterday or Monday when we made the Mod Podge coasters. That would have been a good time to use the low. And you can also scorch your paper, so you don't want to leave it on too long, just until the magic happens. Okay. There we go. Now for our panel, I'm using a piece of 2 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch Bumblebee and 2 inch by 5 1/2 inch of the Designer Series paper. And I'm going to sample up here. I'm going to adhere this on here pretty good because we're going to die cut it out. Part of it, and I don't want that part not to stick. Okay. Okay, that's our panel. Now, how I decided about the cutout, the partial die cutting, is I took the die, it's over here, and I basically used some washi tape, or you could use some low tack tape. I don't want to glue it down yet, but I want to make sure that this is placed properly. So I'm just going to use some of this over to the edge. I'm putting my panel right at the edge of the left side of the card. And then you find hey Carol, we're just in the middle of the card. You haven't missed much. This is the hardest part. Is finding I think it's not right there. I always go for this one that's got kind of a swoop. There we go. That was the swoop. So I position that, and then I'm going to use some more washi tape, or you can use a Post-it note. In fact, let's use a Post-it note. I'm not sure how I haven't de-stuck that washi tape. I like to put it against my clothing to kind of take a little bit of the sticky off. I don't want it to shift, so I'm going to use 2 pieces. Now we can pull this off of our card front. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this piece of washi tape. And then we're going to run it through the Big Shot, or the die cutting machine. Our new Stampin' Up! Die cutting machine, I believe, is going to be available on September 1st for you all to order. I think demonstrators get to order it in August, but I think you're really going to like it. I think I'm going to like it. It kind of folds up so you can store it or keep it on your shelf, and it doesn't take up so much room. Okay, there's our little cutout piece. It looks like Cookie Monster. Took a bite out of it. And then we're going to pop it up with some dimensionals. I'm going to take this old piece and use these outer edges. You could do this with any type of stamp that has a coordinating die. It's kind of a fun little way, just something different. I really want to make sure that on the edge here where that's going to be in the, I want this to stay and not get flattened out. Especially if you were going to mail this. Things can get kind of flattened out. Okay. My daughter called in a tizzy. You have daughters that call when they're in a tizzy? I'm glad she still calls me. I used to call my mom when I was in a tizzy, but she has enough to be in a tizzy about now that she doesn't need my tizzy right now. But back to school decisions. They all took surveys where she lives, and she wasn't sure what she should do. And it just depends on who you listen to. Okay, I'm just lining this up like that. Isn't that fun? So it's a little bit elevated from the heat embossed flower. And then I just made a simple little tag. I have a 3/4 inch by 4 inch piece of Whisper White. And I'm using Memento ink. Kind of came off the okay, I'm going to try and get this straight. I'm probably going to put my head in the camera. I apologize, y'all. Pretty good. You think I could do it blind now as many times as I have used this stamp. And then I was going to show you, if you all have the tailored tag punch, this is kind of a fun punch to have for sentiments on the front of your card. I'm not sure if it was this tag that you can make octagons out of. I'll look that up because I'm trying to show it where you can see it without lights shining on it. But if you have it, it's a real good cheat for a tagged tag. Flag your tag. Flag your tag. Just stick it in the middle of there. Flag your tag with the tailored tag punch. And then I just put a little bit of Stampin' Dimensionals on this part that's going to be on the lower level, and a little adhesive on this end that's going to be on the higher panel level. and get it on there straight. And then I just couldn't leave well enough alone. I thought it needed something. So I stamped the 2 tags with Just Jade, and I just did that on a scrap of Whisper White. 2 leaves. Did I call them 2 tags? And I probably threw them away. I thought they were too dark. I'll show you. There's full ink. And then I stamped off once. And I liked it better stamped off once. It's like how I like my lipstick. I don't want people to say, whoa, she's got lipstick on. But I want to have lipstick on. And I didn't want my card to say, whoa, there's some leaves down there. I just wanted them to be a little something, something. So I'm going to use another die, and you can cut both of them out at the same time. And I should have done this before. This would have been easy enough. But my daughter called in a tizzy. I had to talk her down. It's hard on the kiddos. All of these things we have to think about. Okay, and then I just put them down here with some adhesive. Put it away before it was time. And I just paid attention to these corners. I don't want the corners of my tag to show. So that is how I figured the placement. And the colors I used, I just pulled out of the Designer Series paper. I pulled the Misty Moonlight cardstock and the Just Jade green from the paper so it would coordinate. And that's the card. I think it would be really cute with a little, let's add a little ribbon. It needs an embellishment. Let's add the tiniest little ribbon down there by those leaves. I just decided that. It just looks like it needs something. Oh, you like it, Betty? Thank you. You were going to ask about a bow. Good. We all think alike. I didn't want something too big because of it would cover up the sentiment, but I always like to add an embellishment when I'm making cards. I don't know why. It's hard for me not to make a card without a sequin or some ribbon or some rhinestones. You don't need a whole lot, but I just always like that. We do, in the Stampin' Up! World, we do card swaps. And sometimes there's rules for our card swaps. And one of the rules is you must use an embellishment on your cards. So maybe that's where I get it from. I think, they're not rules, but they're, you know, 2 layers, da 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 da. They just want, if you're gonna go all out on a card, they want to make sure that when you swap with someone, you're getting something that someone's gone all out on too, maybe, just to protect you from that, or I don't know. That's the card. I think it's so fun. I'm going to try it with different stamps too. You wouldn't necessarily have to heat emboss. You could just stamp it on some white cardstock and do the same thing. I just thought on the dark Misty Moonlight that would be pretty with the white embossing powder. Here are the other cards that samples I was going to show you. Here is one, whoops, using the smaller flowers and the little greenery dies. And these are just strips of the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. This is the one if you did my virtual open house, which I'm going to have a holiday one too. I just have to pick a date and get my stuff. I'm a little concerned now, Benny. I sent you this card to make, or something similar. This is the one we made last week, the little pop-up card, which Donna Pollock made one, and it was beautiful. It's hard to show on the thing, but you open the card, and there's the little field of sunflowers. That's where all that print went that I'm low on. And here's another one using that print. This is just a simple little card, and there's that ribbon. Took no time to put together. I did add a layer of embossed cardstock with the Designer Series paper. That's a pretty little card too. And then this one's just another one of those pop-up cards. So there's some samples using that set, and you've all seen the card class to go. It's too late to order that. Yesterday was the deadline, so I can get everything cut and ready to mail out. But you can get the kit for $15. I just can't get you the product. You could order the product on your own, but if you would like to sign up for just the kit, which would include all of the consumable items that you would need, and then you could order the bundle on your own, I'd certainly be willing to do that, because I have not started cutting yet. That's today's project, this afternoon. So thank you guys. You're so sweet to pop in here, and I just go out there and have a lovely afternoon. And if I don't see you before then, I will see you Monday for Make It Monday. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.